All right, we're live. Welcome to FX3, the show where your faith gets fortified, your finances flourish, and your fitness is fueled. I'm your host, KB, the fearless, fun-loving voice of the people, and alongside me is the one and only J-Dub, aka Jeremy Whaley, the financial phenom who turns charts into fortune maps. Together, we're here to help you focus, flourish, and fire up your life in all the ways that matter. Let's freaking go.
Go.
All right. So welcome to FX3, where we explore the intersection of faith, finance, and fitness to help you navigate an ever-changing and complex world. Every week, we break down current events. We dive into latest stocks, cryptos, investments. We connect it all back to spiritual journey and identity. Who are you? Where you're going? What are you doing? Your body's your temple. We're going to share some practical tips to help you strengthen your physical and emotional health. So we're trying to knock out fear-mongering, and we're trying to help everybody grow. So what we're getting into today is some crypto and memes. If you don't know what a meme coin is, or you might learn some stuff today on Solana and XRP networks and where memes are, Ethereum network. Some stock market updates. The phenom, the financial phenom, J-Dub's going to give us some S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ tips and what's going on with that. We might touch on this plane crash that happened. From what I understand, Trump's doing some EOs. And if we have some time, we're going to talk about some faith and new creation theology. And then I got a special health nugget for you at the end of the show, so stick around. So whether you're here for financial insight, spiritual growth, or you just want to be informed, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. Before we do, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. It really does help. And we appreciate the 30 people who have been watching these shows, and we are progressively getting more viewers each show. So thank you. Why don't you throw us a comment? Let us know how you heard about us, what you like, what you don't like, and if there's some topics that you want to talk about. J-Dub, welcome.
Thank you. Hey, if you started with 1 and you increased to 30 viewers, like percentage-wise, it's like, what, 20,000%?
30,000%.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's rapid growth right there.
It's exponential. Exponential
It's
growth.
like crypto.
Yes. 4.36 extension.
Yes. That's it.
That's what I'm looking for right here, J-Dubs.
All right, let's do it. What are we doing?
So we talked about crypto memes last time, and even just to give a quick market update, I'm going to share and bring in CoinMarketCap.
Okay.
So if you don't know what
over so I can see it. Hold on. There we go. I got it now.
You're in?
Yep.
So if you don't know what CoinMarketCap is, it's a good resource. They have all kinds of stuff. This thing scrolls up here and gives you a ticker. So got all this information up here. And I don't know if you knew this, Jada, but there are over 10 million cryptocurrencies. And just a few weeks ago, maybe right here, 10.48, so almost 10.5 million cryptocurrencies. And just a few weeks ago, that number said 2.5 million. So
I did not know that.
The exponential growth is insane because remember, we were talking about on a text chain the other day on how to create your own crypto. And you can go into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, explain to me like I'm 10, how to create a cryptocurrency, and it'll do it. So you can literally go out and create a cryptocurrency. The fear and greed index is at 54. To me, that's great news. A lot more greed to come. So that thing's about to start turning green, in my opinion. And then this is lined up by market cap. So Bitcoin, a big dog, what is this? $2 trillion market cap, and then Ethereum at 400 billion. So there's a lot of Bitcoin is clearly the number one. And when you go on X, when you're twixing people, you get this Bitcoin crowd and then kind of everybody else. And then everybody else gets chopped up into a couple Ethereum people, like all these layer 2s. So you can build coins on Ethereum. So there's a ton of coins built on Ethereum. So you have an entire Ethereum crowd. You have the XRP crowd and you have the Solana crowd. And I guess you have this Binance crowd. So like all these people are splintered and there's a lot of bickering going on between if you go online right now. And it seems to be a lot of hate going at XRP because it's at $3 when just a few months ago it was down at 50 cents. So there's been a big jump here. The current
what a
narrative.
Terrible betrayer. I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
A betrayer.
Yeah, it betrayed everybody. Went from
Because
50
it
cents
pumped.
to $3 and just really ruined everyone's life.
Except if you own XRP, because no Bitcoin people own XRP. That's the thing. And they've been calling it trash for a long time. So it is what it is. And the number one narrative that I currently see in the market is this made in US. This is a new category here in CoinMarketCap. So you can click this button that says categories, and it gives you all these different types of categories. So meme coins, Solana ecosystem, the different ecosystems, gaming. Jeremy, do you know what DFAI is?
I'm gonna guess they pronounce it Phi, but it looks like DeFi.
Okay.
Or DF.
I don't even think
artificial.
that's this is DeFi right here. That's different. This is DeFi.
But go back to AI. So it's
decentralized financed AI.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gaming DPIN. What's DPIN?
I don't know. It's one of those.
Yep. It's one of those decentralized something. Real world asset. These are RWAs. When you hear people talk about RWAs, these are real world assets. So there's lots of different categories within the cryptocurrency ecosystem out of those 10 million coins. And a new one has recently popped up called Made in America, because the speculation is that President Trump is going to eliminate capital gains, which would be huge.
He said that.
Eric Trump said that. The Yahoo Finance article referenced Eric Trump said that.
I need to research that.
Correct. President Trump did not say that. There's speculation that will be coming. But Eric Trump, the Yahoo Finance article said Eric Trump said it's a done deal. So the Made in America tokens, and there's an additional layer to this narrative. The way that I look at cryptocurrency right now is that eventually cryptocurrency will have use case and adoption. But I believe right where we are at this moment and past bull runs is what's the narrative and what's just kind of what's moving the masses and what's the emotional, picture of everything. So if this is the narrative that there's going to be no capital gains and Trump is America first, these are the coins that have been pumping and leading the way. And historically in bull runs, whoever leads the way tends to have the largest gains. And then layer two within this narrative is the ISO 222, which is the compliancy, which we talked about before. So XRP, Cardano, Stellar, Hedera, Algorand, and Gala, and a few other ones of these are the ISO 222 compliant tokens. There's 7 or 8 of them. But in general, these made in American coins have been the leaders so far in the industry, in the gains. So what say you, Jeremy, on that narrative?
All right. First part is based on what I just looked up here. According to Forbes, Eric Trump, quote, confirmed that the U.S.-based crypto projects would be exempt from capital gains.
Yeah, but
moreover, 30% capital gains would be levied on non-U.S.-based projects. But for him to come out and say it, he's basically a spokesperson. Maybe it hasn't been instituted yet, but it's going to happen.
So I agree, and that's what I told you before, and you said I was crazy because I said this is what's going to happen. They're going to come out and they're going to eliminate capital gains. This stuff's going to rip, and all XRP, XLM, and all of these ISO 222 tokens are going to rip. And then
I didn't call you crazy for that.
Yes, you did. And they're going to announce it at the peak. The good news always comes out at the top. So when XLM's around $3, somewhere $2.50, $3, and when XRP is $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, because you're buying the rumor that this is what's going to happen. Then they announce the news, and that's it. Game over. Everything dumps.
That's what I called you crazy for. I called you crazy for your investment strategy.
Well, that's my strategy.
Yeah. That's what I call crazy, but not the other stuff.
But those are also 4.23 extensions, Mr. Fib.
What does that have to do with this part of the conversation?
Because those aren't just made up numbers. There is a strategy within.
But you're blending techniques. All right, let's stay on one track here. So yes. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. What are we talking about again?
Made in America coins, no capital gains.
America, baby.
And yes. Okay. So, and then in theory, Bitcoin stalls out, and Bitcoin is in a distribution phase. So I told you I subscribe to this guy, Blockchain Backer. So he has a Substack, and
well, hold on. Before we talk about that, before we do that, can we talk about some of the other stuff that this could imply? This could lead to. So if you bring up coin market cap again,
okay.
One of the things that's important to understand is a lot of viewers aren't going to understand this. So let me explain it. You'll hear language differently. You'll hear crypto coin, and you'll hear a crypto token. Do you know the difference, Kevin?
A layer 1 versus a layer 2?
Well, a crypto coin, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, they have their own blockchain.
Yes.
So you called it an ecosystem, which that is true. It is an ecosystem. It's think about it like
well, all of these coins right here, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19. I don't know the rest of these. The top 20 coins are all layer 1 ecosystems. Coins.
No, they're not.
What? Tell me which one is not.
Well, Tether, for example. Tether doesn't have its own
other than the stable coins.
I mean, I'm just looking at the list, but the point is that when it has its own blockchain, it's got its own ecosystem. So for the viewers that are watching, that means it's kind of like saying one runs Mac OS, one runs Windows, one runs Linux. So in this analogy, Bitcoin would be maybe Linux, and Ethereum Windows, and XRP Mac, because it's the best. You see what I did there?
I do. But so they're all individual ecosystems, and different functions and tokens and different things can be built on those networks.
So on those networks, you can have a token that's basically a branch of that network, and that's where these meme coins come from.
Well, and they're called layer 2s. So that's the slang. That's what you're going to hear in the industry is a layer 2. So Ethereum is a layer 1 token, and then there's 100,000 coins built on Ethereum. Same with Solana. They're built on these networks.
But the difference here is in language. You can call it layer 1, layer 2. Layer 1 is a coin. Layer 2 is a token. It runs on somebody else's ecosystem.
Tokenomics. Yes.
Tokenomics. There you go. Okay. And I'm trying to simplify this because most of your viewers, they're not as educated as you. They don't know what these words are. You're losing it.
I am highly educated. I agree.
Yeah. It's basically like a doctor talking about, putting in a colonoscopy and using words
just
that
poop in the box, dude.
People don't even know what the colon is, kind of thing.
Don't do the colonoscopy.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's the thing that this could lead to. A lot of the meme coins, which I think you're going to talk about, are built on Solana, or I guess there's some on XRP. I really haven't researched the XRP one.
It's Ethereum and Solana are the 2 number 1 meme coin areas, and XRP and XLM and other ones are kind of getting into that, even Doge and SHIB as well. But the majority of the meme coins, and especially the most popular ones, are on Solana or Ethereum.
Okay, so it took me 10 minutes to get here to my punchline, but here's my punchline. In theory, all those meme coins, capital gains would be waived because they're the ones that are built on U.S. projects.
So on Solana, but not Ethereum.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kept interrupting.
That's good. So the Trump coin is
on Solana.
No tax. Maybe that's why he did that, huh? No capital gains on his coin.
It's a shit coin.
You're just mad because you bought it at $80 or whatever.
No, I did not. I'm not like you.
I know.
I've never officially
I got it at 20.
lost money on crypto.
Oh, still.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that Solana broke down that day, or you would have bought Melania.
Yeah.
But
Probably
Solana broke that day.
Look, I mean,
that's good.
Yeah. Women can make men do strange things.
And yes, and you get to keep your record.
Exactly.
So to me, it makes sense that Bitcoin is in like some level of a distribution phase where it ranges for a while. And do you know what Glassnode is?
I'm not familiar with the vocabulary, but I might, if you explain a little bit more.
Glassnode is a website that tracks one of their metrics that they track is wallets with greater than 10 Bitcoin.
Okay.
So they call these people Bitcoin whales.
Yes.
And a Bitcoin whale, and they've been tracking this for a while. And Bitcoin whales, according to Glassnode, is anyone that has more than 10 Bitcoin in a wallet, and then they buy Bitcoin at lower prices and they sell Bitcoin at higher prices.
Okay.
And currently, that's the trend as the wallets with greater than 10 Bitcoins are selling, not buying.
Okay.
And they've been selling since for the past few months because Bitcoin is in this range. And so that's for whatever this guy that I subscribe to, he calls it a distribution phase. And, I imagine you understand what that means. And so there's this range. So it's been 4 months now or whatever since the ETF came out that it's going between 108,000 and 90,000 or whatever. And it's just washing machine within this range.
Yep.
And that 4 months, the Bitcoin whales have been selling and distributing and rotating speculation, because we don't know, but they're rotating that money into other coins.
Okay.
Is the theory. And so now we're about to see the alternative coin pump go. And the narrative that goes with that is the USA coins. No, I think Ethereum's about to go too, because Ethereum, there's never been one of these alt seasons without Ethereum, because Ethereum's been a laggard and been holding back. So I don't know if you've done any technical analysis on Ethereum, but apparently the TA shows that it's in some level of Wyckoff distribution, and it's in its ending phase and it's ready to spring or something.
It could be. I don't know. You're dropping so many pieces. Like, where do you want me to pick up?
I don't know. I mean, do you agree with any of that narrative?
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of it, but not all of it.
Sure.
So the distribution, whole idea behind distribution, you threw a lot of things in here. Trading range is a key concept. And if I were to share my screen, which I'm going to try to do now, see if I can do that. Press the present button.
Yep, present.
Share screen. There it is. Sharing screen is easiest with 2 monitors. I have that. Share screen. There we go. Let's try this. Can you see my screen?
Cannot. You got to add it to the stage.
Oh, I got to add it to the stage. Yeah.
I have to do that. Sorry.
There you go. Okay. So can you see my screen now?
We have now added it to the stage.
This is Bitcoin. It might look confusing to people who don't know what they're looking at, but this is actually really simple.
We can't see your cursor.
It's because I haven't been cursing yet.
But the last time you did this, I watched the video and we couldn't see your cursor. You were saying things like here, here, and here.
Oh, like if I draw on the screen, you can't see it?
That's much better than last time.
Oh, let's try this. If I draw here, can you see it?
Yes, much better.
All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. So this whole sequence of events up here, do you want me to just like explain to your viewers, or you just want me to be really high level and not nerdy?
Low level, less nerdy.
Okay. So what you described, what you, Kevin, described is I'm going to buy the rumor and I'm going to sell the news.
I love that.
What a trading whale looks at is the opposite of you.
Understood.
Okay. So on a simple level, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to describe a key piece of trading theory that we know from Charles Dow, the founder of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And it goes like this. Basically, trades will build what's called an accumulation period. And during this period, it's when the informed investors, people that you refer to as whales, are picking up new positions.
Okay.
Eventually, the momentum builds and we enter what's known as a public participation period. And this is when the average everyday Joe moves in. Now, here's the thing. The informed investors are not enough to drive us from point A to point B.
Yeah.
It takes the public momentum to get you there.
Okay.
Eventually, the public momentum starts to wear out and we get into a period that you have referred to appropriately
distribution
as a distribution period. Now, who do you think is selling at the distribution period?
The same people who accumulated at the bottom.
The very people who started the move at the bottom.
Yeah.
Now, here's what people don't realize. Following a distribution period, one of two other periods is going to follow. What do you think it is? It's actually only one. Could be.
Could be up again, but down or sideways. Well, it can go three ways: up, down, sideways, right?
It could go up or it could go down, but either one of them is going to be another phase of public participation.
Yeah.
So let's say the public participation drives it down. What happens when we get down to our next level? The public gets exhausted. We have a new phase of accumulation, and the whole cycle starts again.
Is that capitulation?
I don't know what the word capitulation means. I need a Webster's dictionary.
Sure.
This is core technical analysis theory right here.
Yeah. Okay.
But what this is really teaching you is inside this is why my version of trading analysis versus your version of speculation works.
Okay.
Mine works because I know how to look and identify where the accumulation is going to pick up. And I know how to identify where the distribution is going to take place. And so I can stay on the right side of the trade. Now, there's a few characteristics that happen in here that erroneously lead poor souls like you to believe differently. For example, and I'm not making fun of you. You know I love you. When we're in an accumulation period, we're at the bottom. Okay? So the news is the most bearish.
Bad. Yep.
That's where
good news at the top.
That's where people get this idea of being a contrarian investor. Oh, I'm just going to do the opposite of the news. But they don't really understand the cycle. They don't know where they are in the cycle. So they may be opposite of the news at all sorts of different phases. Okay. So the news is the most bearish. The market looks scary. And most importantly, the emotional investors, that says emotional, they've all sold everything, primarily for a loss. Okay.
Okay.
And that's when these educated, informed traders come in and say, that's my stock. That's my crypto. That's my buy right there. I'm gonna pick it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as they start
trade bags,
as they start to do that, it stabilizes pricing, and eventually the public comes in and drives it from point A to point B. Now, when we get to the top, what happens in the top? In the top, the news is the most bullish. Hence,
like no capital gains, and the whole banking system is going to be run on XRP.
No, more like Bitcoin's at an all-time high. Everybody should go buy. That's the news.
I mean,
okay, what you're talking about is
you should buy XRP. You should buy XRP because there's going to be no stocks. There's going to be no taxes on it.
That would be a piece of it, maybe, but that's actually legislation that could actually drive us. So that's more like an earnings result. That's not the rumor mill news. Okay. When I talk about the news, I'm talking about things like Trump stock is up 10,000% this weekend. We should all go buy. The news is super, super bullish, brings in a bunch of traders. The very people who started the move end up selling at the top. And then here's what happens is, okay, this is very emotional. It's very emotional at the top. And that says emotional.
Yeah, that's euphoria.
And that was the next word I was going to put up here. And you have a euphoria. Okay, so what happens at the top, you often refer to it as greed, or I say people often refer to it as greed. I don't call it that.
That's the fear greed index on CoinMarketCap.
That's what people call it, but it's not. Yeah. It's not accurate. It's just extreme optimism. It's emotional, is what it is. Emotions.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the non-emotional trader looks at this and realizes this is going to be a distribution period, and they start selling. And then the very people who started it end the move, and then the very people who were buying here at the top, they freak out, they sell all the way down, and then they complain and they go sue Haktua Girl saying that she pumped and dumped. When in reality, they were the fool because they didn't know when to get in.
I'm with
Here's
it.
your cycle. Okay, now inside that
is Bitcoin in distribution.
Probably, yeah. But that doesn't mean. Hold on. There's one more piece to this. Inside that, during an accumulation period, you will almost always form what's known as a consolidation pattern. And this pattern could look like a channel, could look like a triangle. It's known as a trading range where you're stuck between two prices. In the case of Bitcoin right now, are we in a consolidation? Absolutely, 100%. So if you look at Bitcoin, I'm going to put my lines back on the chart now. If you look at this, the primary support right now is up here around 92,000.
And 92K, yeah.
Okay, now it's had a lot of resistance at 100. It finally broke out. Next line needs to come in here about 108. And what you're going to notice is it's testing that from above. So here's the deal. Is it in a distribution? Yes, it's in a distribution. Phase-wise, functionally, this is a distribution. But it doesn't mean that it's going to go down from here.
Sure.
So the question then is, if you position yourself saying, oh, I'm just going to sell everything and wait for it to drop, well, you may miss the next big move. Because what the speculator doesn't understand is there's actually organized cycles to this. And when you look at this on the chart, now that I put the lines on here, you say, well, where all those purple lines came from? It's because I know how to draw the lines. And so do your other informed traders. They recognize when I get here, this is my support. This is part of my accumulation period.
Yeah, support and resistance.
Therefore, they're buying and accumulating their positions before the next public participation comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bitcoin could make a leg up.
Absolutely. Yes.
But your green over there, what does your JMax say? Your green over there is like looking like on the bottom is looking.
This is a momentum indicator. This is not about the trend. This is about momentum. So right now it's stagnant.
And your RSI is going down too, huh?
That's a stochastic, but it is going down. But again, that's about momentum. That's not about price on the chart. So if you want to look at the trend, you need to look at a moving average, and the trend is actually still bullish. As opposed to Ethereum, which is
what's a target on that? Are you doing a Fibonacci? Because now it's at an all-time high of 108. So how do you speculate trader analysis on what's the next target?
So I'll just tell you, I told my students to get in. We had some buy orders here. We had some buy orders here. And I've been telling them all along we were going to get to 100,000. I'll tell you my target here in just a second. But once we got here, what I've been telling them lately is watch for this right here. We need to know, is 100,000 going to hold a support, or is it going to drop? And if it drops below 100,000, you got to get your eyes on 92,000. If it drops below that, you can put your eyes down here at 72,000. Those are there's your structure. And so now we move from speculation to we've got structure in the trade. And if you know where the trade's moving, we know we're going from 72 to 92. Now you can trade within those boundaries, and you got logic to your speculation.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
So I did do some fib projections a while back. I haven't updated them, but I did them a while back. And our first major target here was somewhere between 107 and 109.
Which had already hit that.
Well, but I drew that a year ago.
I understand. That's why you're the financial phenom. I love that. That's
yeah. So we knew a year ago that was your rough target. Now I can tell you the next target is going to be here. When you got four fibs that are converging here. So that's almost 118.
Okay, so your 10 grand target. 10 grand, like it's trading for around 102 or something right now or whatever. So another 15 grand on top of it. So what was that? Less than 15% move?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking XRP to triple.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just doing analysis for you.
This analysis is great. Can we do something like this on the S&P or the Dow or the NASDAQ? Because NVIDIA just completely sold off, right? I think it was 13% in a day. Microsoft just sold off. Those are all NASDAQ stocks, right? So are those still in bullish trends? Have those trends flipped? That looks, well, now they updated there, but
so this is the Dow Jones Industrial. These bunch of fibs that we've got in here.
Yeah.
Gave us some targets. So I use Fibonacci's. I'm not like some fib traders. I use it very limited. I only use it for extensions when we're in uncharted territory.
Okay.
If you're not in uncharted territory, historical pivot points will always work better.
Okay.
Always. So I always like trading any kind of a chart. The more volume it has, the more participants it has, and the more history it has, the more predictable it is. So anytime that it's brand new, it's the least predictable. If it has low volume, it's got the least predictability to it. You'll see a lot more erratic movements there. So this is the Dow Jones. This is just happening today as we're doing this right now. We're almost done with the day. Market's down 337. That's not a big deal, by the way. You know, people are like, oh, it's crashing. It's not.
It's just testing that line, right?
But we're right at a really important pivot of around 45,000.
Okay.
So that's really important. And if the Dow sells off from here, your next target will be 42. And there's your distribution period. There's your channel that's starting to shape up right there. It's what I just taught you.
Yeah.
You see that? And talk about indicators. Now you look at your stochastics. Okay, the oscillator is telling us that we're done.
It's rolling over.
It's a good time to take your profit on the Dow. Your JMAC, which is a custom indicator we created, it hasn't got there yet, but it will probably within one day. There's also other things like your candlesticks that are telling you to get out of that one. So my Sunday night update, which I'll do in a couple of days here, I will be more bearish than I thought I was going to be.
Okay, for the Dow.
Because that's the signals we're getting. So take a look at the S&P. The S&P is actually giving us similar signals. You'll notice with the S&P that we're also hitting a resistance. This is around 5,100. We did have a fib target here. 6,100. We did have a fib target here. We had multiple confirmations on that. And same early reversal signals that are saying, yeah, want to take some profit here. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bear trend. And this is the important thing. A lot of people will look at that Stokes and they'll say, oh, it's going down. No.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I said it's time to take some profit.
Well, it's just at the top of the channel.
There's a big difference in the end of a trend and the beginning of an opposing trend. And one of the critical principles of understanding markets is to realize that it takes a lot more energy to reverse a trend than it does to continue it. So what's very, very common in a situation like this, and quite likely is what we'll see, is that a trade like this will come up to a all-time high. It will channel, give you a distribution period, as you would call it, which is an accurate title. And by the way, during this season, during this channel, if it's a well-defined channel, your stochastics will start to oscillate perfectly, almost perfectly, with the peaks and valleys. So you can actually scalp between support and resistance inside that distribution period. So it's a pretty easy scalping technique to do that. And then, like I said earlier, it's going to break one way or the other. It's either going to break.
Scalping technique is to just pick up 5-10% gains here and there.
Scalping technique would be, in this case, okay, I recognize I'm in a channel. As I hit support and I bounce, I'm going to buy. When I hit resistance, I'm going to sell.
Yeah.
And you can confirm that with your stochastics, because your stochastics will cross almost perfectly with those moves.
Okay.
It will not do that in the middle of the trend. So you have to know how to read your indicators. But in this context, in that setup, it will be an unbelievably reliable indicator.
Okay.
In the trend, you're going to want to work with your moving average. That will be your tool.
So I think you were about to say, but I cut you off, that this might go sideways and then go up.
Could break up. It could break down. It could break either way.
You don't know. Okay.
Anytime so the consolidation patterns, different patterns have different ways that they play out. A consolidation, which is going to be a channel, that's a type of consolidation pattern. A triangle, I kind of drew a small one, but a triangle. And then there's several variations of those. All of those are 50-50. They can break bullish. They can break bearish. You have to know that. Anybody who comes out and says, oh, it's a triangle, it has to break bullish. Nope. They don't know their technicals. If they say it's an ascending triangle, it has to break bullish. Nope. It doesn't matter. If it's a consolidation pattern, it can break either direction. Thomas Bulkowski's done literally thousands.
You're going over my head. Can we look at NVIDIA?
Yes. How did I go over your head? Break either way.
Once you start talking about Markosovskis and
Oh, I was just quoting a research project. That's it. I was just quoting, so you didn't think I was making it up. What do you want to look at?
Nvidia.
Oh, did you?
Because then Nvidia just sold off. There's a bunch of gaps. It looks like there.
Yeah. Did you want to know about the Nasdaq?
Well, Nvidia is a big portion of that, and then yeah, sure.
Yeah, but if you look at the Nasdaq itself,
okay,
it's still in its bullish trend.
All right.
Okay, so it's slowing down, but it's still in a bullish trend. Okay. You are starting to see a little bit of slowdown here. No bearish reversal. Not yet. Might come, but it's not there yet. Nvidia, this is a concern for me. We get rid of all this. You don't have all the lines on there. You can see we're back below my averages. My averages have turned red. This is a custom indicator that we created for TradingView. So if
are those gaps?
You have a huge gap right here. Yeah.
Okay.
If I can draw it on there.
Is in a gap is when it opens and closes different a large portion from the prior day. So like off hours trading basically.
Well, what happens to create a gap like this is something changed between the close of the market on this day and the open of the market on this day, and it changed the perceived valuation.
Okay.
So in this case,
that was deep seek or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was deep China, whatever they called it.
Okay. The deep.
And I don't really know all the details of that, but my understanding is it's a threat to ChatGPT. And
it's all scam though. They used offshore accounts to go buy NVIDIA chips and create their whole ChatGPT, and they piggyback off ChatGPT to make a fake ChatGPT that they claimed is all not ChatGPT, and then told everyone about it, and everyone freaked out. So that's all speculation. I don't actually know any of that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not speculating against the Chinese. They come after me.
What's up with this plane crash?
You want to know the rest of NVIDIA? Or are you done with that?
Well, that's a huge gap. I mean, it looks not good to me.
Well, it could be not good.
But it also could be good.
It could be great. Yep.
Oh, okay.
You want to know that?
Be great. I would like to know why if you could tell me why it would be great.
This is part of being a good analyst is you have to look at all the angles.
Yeah, I'm just chasing squirrels around here, man. You know what I mean?
You're chasing squirrels, and I'm trying to help you get settled.
I understand.
Okay? So here's what you have to ask. Number one, what does the gap mean? Is there any significance to this gap? And it is a significant gap because it's there and it hasn't filled yet. As soon as a gap fills, it's no longer significant.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it trades in that price range, it doesn't matter anymore. And what you need to know, you often heard people say, well, what's this mean? What's the price mean? Like if the news event comes out. Mm-hmm. So there you go. You always say, buy the rumor, sell the news.
It's probably going to pump.
You're saying NVIDIA is going to pump?
Yeah, to fill that gap.
Not necessarily. So that's what I'm going to tell you right now is whenever people say, what's the news worth? Was it worth a move from 135 a share at however many outstanding shares there are down to 120 a share? Was it worth $15 per share? The news of Deep Seek?
Deep Throat.
Deep Throat. That's a terrible name. Is that the best they could come up with? Is Deep Shuki? I mean,
Deep Seek. Yeah.
Okay. Was it worth $15 a share? The answer is no. Why did it go there? Because Jeremy has a purple line there.
Yeah, that's the support.
It's a known price range. So when you have a major news event, here's what you need to understand. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Where's the news going to take it? It's almost always going to take it to a major support or resistance level.
So if you wanted to buy NVIDIA, you would have your limit buy set for that line.
You could. Now the question, this is the $1 million question. So one mindset would say, okay, as soon as it hits 120, I'm buying. Here's the problem. Now we broke all the averages. We broke all the trends.
Yeah.
The next
then you have to set a stop loss, a tight stop loss at just a few percent, so that if it breaks that, you're out. But this is a low risk trade to buy there, and then you'll identify the trend quickly.
I don't agree with that, but you can. That's a lot of people would say start buying here and set a tight stop. And I don't agree with that, because what I've watched over all my experience is people will be buying at the bottom. It's called bottom fishing.
Catching a
And
falling knife.
yeah, it really is. I mean, what'll happen is you get flushed out with your stops, and then it goes on and does something, and you're just sitting here chasing trades.
Okay.
So I trade with momentum. That's the way I always do it. But what you need to understand about this right here, this pattern from a candlestick standpoint, that's a very bearish picture. The fact we're below the average and the averages are all red, that's very bearish. What I would look for right now, the first inclination on NVIDIA, do I drop below support and close? And if I can drop below support and close, ain't no buying for me. It's shorting.
Is it going to gap again down?
No, it's going to trade down to about 195 to 100.
Yeah.
Okay. But what I've got to get is I got to get below my support. I got to drop below it, and then I'm going to trade with the momentum.
Okay, so
and at that point, all the momentum is going that way.
To happen. You're being patient, and you're waiting for that to happen.
Yes, I'm being patient.
Oh, that's what I'm. All right.
Yeah, I know that's hard. You say, well, what if it goes up? Well, if it goes up, you're still actually not out of the blue.
Yeah.
Because you're stuck in all this consolidation.
And those are now, those previous supports are not acting as resistance.
All that's going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can look back. Let's see how many I've got on here, because we deleted a bunch of them. Yeah, I got rid of a bunch of them at the end of the year. But you can see in here, you see this trade setup where it was green. See, we had an entry here, and we traded it to here. That was our first target. And we had several. I mean, we did tons of trade setups on NVIDIA this year. Had it broken out of that resistance, which it didn't, our next target was going to be up here. And we took that from our fibs.
Okay.
See that?
Yeah. That's why you're the financial phenom, J-Dub.
No, it's just, a whole bunch of experience. And that's why I'm trying to help you, anybody else who wants to listen, learn that, if you're always on the wrong side of the trade, or if you feel like you're always chasing your trades, it's because you are. You are. I mean, you're the ones that are actually getting eaten up because you've got a bad strategy.
I understand.
Yeah. So don't just buy the rumors. Rumors are fun, but doesn't mean anything.
Well, let me shift. What's up with the plane? What's up with the plane crash?
That's sad. It's very sad.
Because I live here in DC, and all the roads were closed, and for a day or two, they're like out there checking on all this stuff. I think there's 70 people in the plane, and apparently these dudes at church, they're a bunch of government people at church, and like someone is like, yeah, my friend's wife was on the helicopter or something. It's
on the helicopter. Wow.
Wild. Because my first thing was like the helicopter looked like a drone. Nobody was on the helicopter. But now I'm like receiving firsthand experience or like, hey, no, like people died on that helicopter.
Yeah, people died. I can tell you firsthand people died because a girl that is a present student at the university I went to, she was coming back from her grandfather's funeral in Wichita, changing planes in Reagan, and she was killed. So I have two connections, two personal connections. I have her, which I don't know her, but I know people who know her. And that's a real story. That was not made up. And none of those people that I know that know her have any reason to make that story up.
Sure.
That's a real family that lost a real daughter.
So what the hell happened? I don't understand. Like, have you done any research on it? How does this helicopter run into an airplane?
Well, it didn't run. It flew. Helicopters don't have legs. They can't run.
That is accurate. Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah. I mean, obviously NTSB will come out with their reports, and some of it will be true and some of it won't be. I don't buy into the conspiracy stuff. I was curious about it the first night because Trump had sent out something called Watch the Water that day. And then that night there's a plane crash in the water. Like I was like, okay, that's a weird coincidence. But as a pilot, what I don't understand is I don't understand why. Now I've only flown in the DC. I've never flown into Reagan. I've flown in the greater DC area twice. And I got to tell you, it was terrifying. Like it was so much traffic and there's so much military stuff going on. So as a private pilot, I was heavily intimidated. So I'm sure that that's just a big part of it. It's just super, super.
Well, and if you don't know, Jeremy is a pilot and he actually flies planes.
Yes. Instrument rated pilot.
Yes.
Yes. So from what I could tell, American Airlines coming in short final, they were one piece. They were on the approach for, I think it was runway 1, and then they moved them over to runway 33 at the last minute. That's a huge disruption. I mean, you're down at 1,500 feet, which is not very far, and they tell you to scoot over to runway 33. And they did it, but they took them off their approach, which is a IFR approach, instrument rated approach, which is basically autopilot's doing all of it. And when they give you an adjustment like that, basically you're moving over to a visual approach. And so everything changes in the cockpit. You've been preparing your whole flight for this instrument approach. You've been preparing to be kind of brought down the glide slope. Now they may have even been flying by hand. They may have still been on autopilot. I don't know. But it's not a lot of time to reset all of your autopilot to move you over to a different runway and still make your approach path. So that was a piece that was happening for American Airlines. But I think, as I've looked at it, they are not the guilty parties. The two guilty parties, as I see it, helicopter and air traffic control. And the third one is probably the FAA itself. And that's probably controversial for me to say that. But I do not like the idea that they've got an actual published helicopter it's not I forget what they call it, but it's pathway basically that goes right underneath at 200 feet, goes right underneath your approach for runway 33. That makes no sense.
I read an article about that the tower was understaffed as well. That the one guy was doing the job of 2 people or something also. So I don't know if that falls into that category or if that's even true, but
I think ATC probably could have prevented some stuff. Okay, so facts that we know: the plane was on an appropriate glide path. Plane was around 350, 400 feet. Helicopter was supposed to be under 200. So boom, helicopter was almost twice its altitude. Now people say, well, how could it be that far off? That's easy. It's easy. I mean, I'm telling you, I remember doing my check ride and flying our 360s that we had to do, and I think I lost 300 feet of altitude. Because you kind of, when there's so much going on, you're checking your instruments, doing all sorts of different things, especially in the visual case, when you're looking out the window, it's really easy to lose perspective on where your altimeter's at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of it. I just mentioned the altimeter. Hypothetically, what if they had their barometric pressure set wrong, which is a possibility? They could actually read 200 feet off. If they had their barometric pressure, let's say for, I don't know what the numbers would be, but that would actually change your altimeter reading. So the helicopter might have thought they were flying at 200 feet and they weren't.
Okay.
More likely, I think they lost perspective and they just flew up and didn't realize they were flying up.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Got in the path.
Okay. How much? It sucks. That's horrible. Can we shift now?
Sure.
How much
You're running the show.
How much protein do you eat on a daily basis?
I don't know.
Do you track it? You don't track it.
No.
Come on, man. We got to
clearly I eat way more sugar than I need to and not enough protein. I don't know. It depends. Like if I'm really trying to work out, I will drink probably 75 grams a day.
You'll drink 75 grams a day?
Yeah,
of protein?
in addition to what I eat.
Okay.
But if I'm not doing something where I'm intentionally drinking liquid protein, I don't know how much is in a steak, how much is in a chicken.
A chicken might have a lot, but I don't know, like
a chicken breast. Yeah.
Left. All right, so a large breast.
The left breast.
This is my metric sheet that I came up with that's been working for me. Okay, so I did these calculations and I tracked it for a while. So now I'm gonna give an asterisk on this in a second. So basically, you take your weight and then you multiply your weight times 12.22, and that gets how many calories you should intake in a day. So the example at the bottom is because it's calories, protein, sugar, fat, and carbs. And when you're eating a lot of protein, you inevitably ingest fat as well. Typically because I eat a lot of eggs and beef, which has a lot of fat in it, and I cook those in butter. So I pretty much eat eggs, beef, and butter every single day.
That's carnivore.
But carnivore would be just that. Carnivore doesn't even eat eggs. Like, it's just meat. So it's
Bacon,
just
beef, and butter.
no eggs. Like, I eat a lot of eggs. I don't think eggs
Is carnivore bacon, beef, and butter?
Bacon. Yeah. But it's just high protein, low, like just try and balance it out. So 180-pound guy, 2,200 calories, 140 grams of protein, 100 grams of sugar, 100 grams of fat, and 140 grams of carb. So I track that on a daily basis to stay under that. And really the calorie thing is the biggest. If I can just get under the calories and then get at least 100, 150 grams of protein, which I usually get a lot more than that, 150, 60, 70 grams of protein. But what inevitably happened is and then I getting 100 grams of fat. I went through this with a friend, and he was like, how the heck do you get so much fat? Like, why are you eating 100 grams of fat? But that's in the butter, that's in the beef, that's in the eggs, that's in the stuff that I'm eating to get protein. And then it's also going to contain the fat. So I'm just trying to, not go crazy on that, but I'm not really concerned with that, just keeping the calories and the protein. But I said all that to then, because then you said you don't go to the doctor. And I have a quick doctor story.
Why would I go to the doctor? They might kill me.
Well, the one tried to kill me.
Did you sue
because him? Well, no, because I didn't let him. This was in 2022. Okay. So I hadn't been to the doctor in like 3 years, because 20 and 21 and 22, I didn't go to the doctor. I'm like, those people don't know what they're talking about. So I'm not going. And then eventually I was like, all right, let me go get some blood work and do a physical. And I go back. And all the blood work checks out and everything's fine. And before I leave, like a car salesman, the guy looks at me and says, what do I got to do to get you V'd today?
V'd?
Like, I don't want to say the word.
Oh, you mean like shot up in the arm?
With the C19 jab.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know what the VAERS is, J-Dub? The vaccine adverse event reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So where they track all the adverse events, whatever. And at the time, like, I was like all up in the research and trying, what I mean? Like, this thing's killing people and it's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And so I asked the doctor flat out, I was like, I don't know, doc. I'm really concerned with the VAERS data. What is your opinion on the VAERS data? That was my answer to him saying, like, trying to sell me a jab. And he said, what's VAERS? And then I said, like, you're a doctor. You don't know what VAERS is? So he pulled out his computer and he Googled it. And then he looks at it, then looks up and says, no. It's safe and effective. You should do it right now. And it was like the tagline for the commercials. And I was just convinced, like, these people have no idea what they're talking about. So I left, and I didn't get one. That was my story for doctor. And then recently, well, that's what I'm saying.
Suddenly, you could have died suddenly.
SIDS. And
adult
AIDS. I don't know what it's called. But then now the issue I'm running into is because I eat beef, butter, and eggs every day. They're telling me my cholesterol's high, and they want me. There's like, I'm obligated to tell you, you have to take a cholesterol medicine. And I'm just like, I'm not worried about it. And I've spent an hour on the internet and ChatGPT and all of this and trying to figure it all out. And I'm not concerned with it, because it's for high risk people that are stagnant or whatever. So caveat, once, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a health advisor. And if you follow my protein plan and you eat a ton of protein and you get in 100 grams of fat, you might end up getting elevated cholesterol, FYI.
That was the whole story, was to tell people that if they follow your plan, they might have high cholesterol.
But there's two types of cholesterol. I don't know if you're aware of this, LDL or HDL.
I have insight on this. Yeah, go ahead.
And HDL is the good cholesterol and LDL is the bad cholesterol. And my HDL was through the roof. And my triglycerides.
Because you're a good guy, Kevin.
Well, because I am. and I eat good food. So my healthiness is through the roof. The HDL is basically like you can't have a high enough number, and mine is exorbitantly high for that. So it's like, okay, this is a marker that you're super healthy. And then there's another marker that goes with it, triglycerides, and that if the triglycerides and the LDL are off, then it's like, okay, now we got to figure something out. But my triglycerides were super low. So another marker saying is very healthy. The only thing that's up is the LDL. And then further research shows it's kind of like a false negative or whatever because of the food I consume, but it's not a high risk situation. But because Western medicine is so like cookie cutter, one size fits all, that as soon as an LDL number pops up, the doctor's like, hey, you need to take this pill and blah, blah, blah. And FYI, I said no. So that is my health nugget for you is get you some beef and some eggs. You cook it up together, right? You got some ground beef, scrambled eggs, some butter, put it all up in there, and you eat that every day.
Yeah.
Get you 150, 160 grams of protein every single day. Beef you up, man. So we're going to
get you want to know my insight? You probably already know this.
I do.
I'm not a doctor. I don't even pretend to be one.
Only if you stayed at a Hilton or Motel 6 or whatever.
I'm not a doctor on any level, but I did watch a podcast recently with somebody who was talking about this very issue. And what they were explaining, because they were doctors or scientists at least, they were explaining that something in the cholesterol is actually what rebuilds your blood cells. And the very thing that Western medicine is trying to tell you to get rid of, which is cholesterol, is actually the very thing you need to heal your body.
I agreed. I learned that same thing. That cholesterol is not bad. It's not a boogeyman.
Yeah, I've watched all these people that are doing keto and specifically carnivore diet, reversing inflammation, chronic diseases. It's really inspiring, and honestly, it jacks everything up from the Western diet and what we've been told.
Yeah, like Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan, all they eat is meat.
Yeah,
so I'm not there yet, but I do consume a lot of beef and butter and eggs, and
yeah,
it seems to be working.
Yeah. So have you started consuming your own beef and your own eggs yet? Because I think that makes a big difference.
No, I get them from Amazon Fresh, and you get the coupon at Amazon Fresh. So if you don't know the Amazon Fresh trick, you gotta go see my video on TikTok and short. But because Jeremy love that.
Well, but I don't have an Amazon Fresh, and those birds have hormones.
I mean, what are you gonna do? I know I don't have my own chickens. My sister has chickens. I can go get chickens from her.
You should become better friends with your sister. So we have a bunch of friends that give us chicken eggs, and I'm telling you, it's night and day difference.
Like the way they taste? I don't understand.
Yes, they taste different. They're more filling. They have more color to the yolk.
Yeah, like the dark yellow yolk.
Yeah, like you don't even have to refrigerate them. That's something I learned. If you don't wash the eggs, you don't have to refrigerate.
Non-washed, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so pretty cool. And we had a friend who's raised a cow. Unfortunately, he raised the wrong kind of cow, and his beef was terrible. Mm-hmm. We bought half the cow, but it was terrible.
It wasn't Wagyu.
No, it wasn't. It was not only not Wagyu, it was a milk cow.
Okay.
And there was like 0 fat. It was so tough. But I'm a big fan. I would love to I'd love to have somebody raise a cow and give me, part of it, but I don't want to be a farmer.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So that brings up an interesting issue, and I know we're pretty much out of time. Have you ever ordered from like some of these farms, like Independent Arc? Have you seen those guys?
No. Is it where you order a cow?
Well, you can order just different cuts, and I think I have a couple links I can share with you. I got to find them, but apparently they flash freeze them as they butcher them. And when you get them and you thaw them, it's the same as the grocery store getting it and thawing it and then selling it to you fresh.
Okay.
But apparently much better cuts. And
you just buy it online and they ship it to you in a freezer cooler. Yeah. Like Omaha steaks, but actually real steaks.
Yeah. My problem is when I decide I want a steak, it's like I don't want to wait a couple days for it to show up.
To thaw.
Right. Like I want to go to the grocery store and buy it and come home and fix it.
Yeah, me too.
Or just go to Outback and.
But if you can get ground beef, because I go through 1-2 pounds of ground beef a week. So if I can get ground beef from those guys, then that's cool with me.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I mean, I buy the grass-fed, grass-finished, if you know that what that means.
Well, I do, but it's deceptive. It's deceptive because a lot of times what they put on the label isn't what you think it actually meant.
You gotta trust somebody. I can't. I mean, literally, I don't trust my doctor. I mean, I trust you. I don't trust.
I'm the only one you can trust.
I mean, seriously, I don't trust my grocery store. I don't trust my pharmacy.
You can't.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't trust your kids either. You know, my kids did. I had 2 chocolate muffins that were sitting over here. I've been saving them. This morning I woke up, came in here, they were gone.
I mean, they're doing you a favor, bro. They have the metabolism to run through that no problem. They're just hooking you up, man.
I know, but I felt robbed.
But I was really looking forward to them.
I was.
It's like
I told them, I said, if I wanted you to eat them, I would put them in the kitchen. They were hidden.
All right. Any final thoughts, takeaways?
Yes. Gold is at an all-time high-ish. But what people don't realize, it's actually at a resistance.
Okay.
So there's my little nugget for you.
For
before you go buy the hype, everybody's all excited. Oh, gold looks so good. Go look at the chart. You're right at resistance.
A reversal is potentially coming in according to
very
JW.
Overbought, yeah.
And we will explore that next week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next week. And